morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the Badass Buddha. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm saying. So good morning, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I said that already. Happy Tuesday. I have to get myself situated here. I have to ground myself. I don't know what I'm doing or anything. So, welcome. I am the Badass Buddha. And who are you, fabulous co-hosts?
I am your Gladiator Guru, La Margarita. Buenos dias. Good morning. Namaste.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. How is everyone this morning? Did you have a lovely weekend? You could put in the comments. Anything exciting happen? I think Chenille wants to share something exciting that she text messaged us last night. If you want to go ahead and put that in the comments, Chenille, that was so cool. And happy Tuesday. How did your Monday go? I'm going to mention something about Monday because of the date, but also let us know what coffee you're drinking this morning. I have Cricket's Whisper, naturally orgasmic, in my Viva Cafe con Leche
Ole!
cup. And I love this coffee. Love this coffee.
I do too, but I sold them all. So I am drinking Café La Llave, which is my go-to. I love Café La Llave. Good morning, Melissa. And it's, yes, with coconut milk, no sugar, and I take my time with it, so I love it. Because what is coffee, mi gente? Today's Tuesday. What is coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee es magia. It is the first kiss of my day. My cheerleader of events of the rest of the day. Café es mi magia de amor. That is coffee to me. Yes. So what is, today is April 5th already, but it's April. So happy April, mi gente. You know, April is the beginning of the second quarter of 2022. So January to the end of March, that was your first quarter of whatever it is you needed to get done the first year, whether it was just planning, putting it on paper. So this month starts the beginning of the next quarter of 2022. We can do this. Let's do this. We're going to read on Chenille.
All right. So here we go. So Chenille Real Deal wrote, Goodwin University will be having our wonderful book, Her Badass Story, in their bookstore and access to Amazon to buy alongside with 4 other alumni who became authors last year as well. So exciting to reach our college students. That was such a beautiful surprise, Chenille. It really was. And when you sent that text message to everybody, it was just absolutely fantastic. And what even more so, because the co-authors, everybody that was in the book, immediately responded, which was just, fantastic. And that's the beauty of it too, is that not only did all these individuals share their stories, but we came together too as another support system, another tribe. And I think that's the beauty of it. It wasn't just that we're reaching out to help other people, and also it's very cathartic for ourselves, but we just got closer as a tribe. And even though we're busy and we're doing our own thing, one text message just reestablished the connection. And it also reminded everyone why they did the book and what they got from the book. And so that was fabulous, Chenille. It really was. That was so exciting.
Check out Chenille, the Bridgeport Public Library, because when I published my very first book in 2006, they have me there with the Bridgeport natives. There's a section. I don't know. I haven't been there in a while. They removed it with all the changes, but check there because you are a Bridgeport native as well. Go, girl.
That's fantastic. And good morning. We have so many shout outs this morning. Kathy Ruiz, good morning. Obviously, Chenille Real Deal is in the house. You already said hello to Melissa. Good morning. And then we have Milagros on. We have our Janice. Good morning.
Henny.
And thank you so much, everybody, for coming on. And remember to share and reach out, because today's conversation, as always, is just going to be a phenomenal conversation. Our conversation today is If I Were Brave. And we're going to dive into being brave and being courageous. And we're going to talk about the differences between the two. But before we do that, Janine's in the house. Good morning, Janine. Janine, the three of us need to do a Zoom, just catch up and see how everybody's doing. I know you have a lot to talk about and tell us, and you look fabulous, and we're so proud of you.
Yes.
So I wanted to share something with all of you so I got this email and it came in yesterday, but I just read it this morning. And I know how Gladiator Guru and a lot of other people out there love the numerology stuff. And I find it fascinating. I don't follow it, but I do find it fascinating. And I love when there are those pieces where they connect things and say stuff. So yesterday was 4/4/22. So this is the email that I received. It said, so in numerology, 22 elevates purpose. So for the whole year, right? Basically, the whole year is elevating our purpose. And I'm okay with that. That sounds absolutely fabulous. So 22 conspires, it's an angel number, as they all are, conspires to bestow upon you the concept of sensitivity and adaptability. Under the influence of this number, you will enjoy the idea of balance and harmony, which I thought was just lovely, because I was so out of balance myself last year that I definitely could use some balance, right? Now we go into the 4/4, okay? As you can see, the angel number 4/4 is like 22. It's a master number. They exude the symbolic representation of inner wisdom and progress. Under the influence of 44, you will find yourself with the urge to work harder. Moreover, your willpower and ability to apply yourself will be your point of recognition. And that's from sunsigns.org. And I thought about this because all weekend, I have been nonstop working, like early in the morning, late at night, and not even freaked out about it. Like, it just so with the flow. Like, so Gladiator Guru, remember when you were talking about when you were in the midst of your painting the bags, and you would say to me, oh my God, I was painting all day, I was up till like 2 in the morning painting these bags, and that flow, and you were so in that space, and I could see it in your face, you were excited, you were so aligned with your passion and purpose at that moment in time. And anything could have happened around you and it wouldn't have broken your focus. And when we have those moments where we are that focused, where we have to stop though for a moment and honor that fact. Because for the times that we don't have that focus, we always put the emphasis on, I'm so out of focus, I can't concentrate, I can't stay on one thing. And we put all the emphasis and energy there, what we can't do, instead of taking a moment for when we're in these spaces to say, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for this moment. I'm so honored that the information is flowing from, up above through me and down to the ground. So I just wanted to say that. And I've only had 2 sips of coffee.
The energy's good. Yeah, I think everything's numbers. If you go back to Da Vinci, to all of that, everything is numbers. People think it's against God, but it's all in the astrologies. Newton did all that back in the day. So I love numbers. I love the flow of numbers.
I know you do.
My father's 7/7/47. My daughter was born on the 7th. My first grandchild on the 7th. My son-in-law, Argenis, is 7/17. I'm 27. My son's 27. My granddaughter's 27. So I love numbers, and I think they all flow, even when you're selling something, certain numbers. But yeah, there is a magical phenomenon when you sit down and take away numbers. Like if you have a number, you take it away and you add them and you subtract and you get that one number that to you, it's phenomenal. It's just like what time you were born. People think they don't register their birth time, just their birthday. So when I say, so what day of the week were you born? Oh, I don't know. I was born on this day, but what day? What time? Oh, were you born in the morning? And like, those are questions we need to know about ourselves, just for ourselves, for, So what's important, and I think we are a number everywhere we go, but talking about that with numerology and what it says and the aura and all this, 7/27 is Arlene's birthday, Thursday at 2:07 p.m. See, that is awesome. I was born Wednesday at 8:32 a.m.
I
Back
was
in
born at
1968,
7:05 a.m.
when bread was 5 cents.
And we walked both ways to school and back.
And came home, like my sister Connie was saying, and came home for lunch. So, I mean, and we survived. These sensitive MFers today, I tell you, I just want to punch them in the throat. But I'm not, because I'm going to hum and say that God's grace is beautiful for me. Whoever you choose to follow, my God was a great protector for me in that car crash I had on Thursday after the show.
Yes.
And just to remind people that faith isn't about asking God to stop the storm. And that's why a lot of people walk away from God. Oh, but where was he when I needed him? Where were you when you didn't need him? It's a conversation. You're not going to only have a good relationship with your husband when you need him, right? You don't want your husband coming to you, ignores you all the time, and only comes to you when he wants some sex. It's the same relationship you have with God. You got to be in communication. So faith isn't about asking God to stop the storm. Faith is about trusting God to help you through the storm. And that's how I've always lived my life. Like, you know what? Okay, this tunnel's kind of dark. I hope I see the light somewhere at the end of this. But you always come out, right? So my car was meant to be slammed into right on the driver's door. And if you look at the pictures, that side of the car was not even dented. So it says a lot about who I walk with, who I follow, who I surrender to, who knows I'm a heathen and still chooses to love me. And so all glory to God.
You're not a heathen. What, I hate when you say that. I hate when you say it. I am so honored to know you and be friends with you, because that's why you walked away from that. That's why not only did she walk away from that, but she also has had minimal physical issues with it, even mental and emotional. She's been very calm, and you only had like a few, bruises and burns from the airbag and stuff. But it's, you are a divine entity. You say things like that you're a heathen, but you tell people like it is. And I think that in this day and age, that is so greatly appreciated, because here's the deal. If you are upset by somebody pointing out something that's true, it's not like you ever say to somebody, you say something to somebody that isn't true, or that you did not observe, or you felt. It's like something that it's there. If we get upset about it, that's because we just didn't want to hear it.
Because you're insecure, weak, and pathetic. Yeah. That's how I see it, and that's why.
But that's the way it is. And so if and when we are growing, we have to, when people point stuff out to us, there's people that do point stuff out to you that are just there because they're assholes, they're rude, they're narcissistic, they're toxic. They want to knock you down because they have a mindset of scarcity, and they want to point out your flaws or redirect their flaws, and there are those people out there, but that's not you. And when you take individuals in and information in, and you say, was this information that they said to me valuable? Was it coming from a place of observation? Was it coming from a place of compassion and empathy? Even if it is harsh, it still can come from a place of compassion. Or was it meant to hurt me? And if the insecurity kicks in, you'll view it as that it was meant to hurt me. But if you're grounded, even if it is hurtful, you could say, well, that was coming from a place of trying to hurt me. However, it's not going to, because I saw that, I saw that. I was able to see that in the person. So that's why, with you, I mean, I take your, whatever you say, I digest it, because you're not coming from that place. And if I'm not liking what you say, then I got to take a step back and say, okay, why am I not liking, what is it? Because she's saying something I just really don't want to hear. And that's what friendship is too. I got to tell you, I have never understood real friendship until I started really becoming friends with myself and respecting myself, and then attracting people into my life that were really, really straightforward. And that's Gladiator Guru. So I appreciate that, and I really do. So I get mad at you when you say that, just because you're
well, no, I say that because I'm not as I should be. And I know I have my ways, but yes.
Look at Gail, insecure, weak, and pathetic. Gail,
yeah.
Gail.
And with that, I'm going to say, there's a quote that I wrote that's in my book, that it says, I was not born with peace in my heart. I was born with a sword in my hand. I have always been brave. And that's why I tell you, you know what? I can be standing alone and I see an injustice. I listen to just like awfulness coming out. So, that woe is me. I cannot tolerate that. That's like nails on a chalkboard for me. And so, and I'll be brave. And when people approach me, I'll say, well, I don't think so. There's no sugarcoating, because you know what? Life, as I have witnessed it, is too short.
Yes.
Tomorrow's not promised.
Yes.
Next week, next year, I'll take that trip next year. Fuck that. If you got 2 pennies, put one in each pocket and you're a millionaire. Go on that vacation. Why? Because it's not promised. My husband died in the middle of the night. We didn't know. All his vitals was good. My mother, the 2 days before his seizure, the nurse was so amazed at how her blood, her diabetic ACI, whatever that is, blood pressure, everything was perfect. Tomorrow is not promised. When you overthink, you are screwing yourself. Overthinking and crossing and writing and analyzing. Come on, that's all you're doing. That's your make you feel good, is planning and pretending you're gonna do it.
I've caught myself into that cycle very often, is just the planning, and you feel like you're being productive. I mean, it's not saying that you shouldn't plan sometimes, but if you're planning and not doing, then you're not doing.
You got to be brave with yourself first.
Yes.
You got to allow yourself to think outside the box that you placed yourself in. See, if I was your oldest sibling and always made you feel less than, then you meet somebody that makes you feel less than, that's them. That's their actions. Why are you absorbing it? Why are you wanting to become this weak and pathetic victim? Give it back. Purge it. If you don't know how, ask a certain kind of questions, observe, purge it, be brave, and get to know yourself. And I think bravery, we're going to talk a little bit about it, but bravery is your best friend. It's going to hurt you. It's going to put you in uncomfortable situations. You're going to be like, I don't want to do this. I changed my mind. Too bad. You already signed in blood. Let's do this. Hold yourself to those contracts. Don't let nobody bind you to a contract that you don't want, but hold yourself to those contracts of self-love and self-trust. That's bravery. That's being so unapologetically courageous to yourself that you don't give a flying fuck what anybody else says. But you got to start with that bravery of saying, I am enough.
Yes.
I deserve this too.
Yes.
What the fuck? Yes, I got this. And like I said, I had a terrible car accident, minimal car insurance. So they ain't paying shit for my car. It's a loss. The car has sentimental value to me because my husband bought that as a Mother's Day gift in 2010. At first, I was like, what the hell is this? And then I fell in love with the car. I wouldn't have changed it. I would have still had it. But what happens? It's material, right? In November, end of November, early December, my cousin and I got our tickets to go to Spain to walk El Camino Santiago. I get out the car. I'm shaking. Big hole in my shirt. I had some pretty cleavage. I was like, wow, that looks good. Right? Didn't touch my skin. Again, blessed. Blessed. Elohim. Yeah, right? So, and I'm sitting there. My daughter arrives from work. My niece arrives from work. And I'm sitting there. And I'm calmed down. I'm not shaking anymore. My blood pressure was perfect. I don't overexert. Like, oh, shit. When I saw the car, I felt like my heart dropped to my stomach. And then I looked at it again. And I said, thank you for serving your purpose. That gift was given to me so many years ago, and it was an armor for me. It served as my armor. So I got to be grateful, right? So then what do? I sit back and I look at my daughter and I look at my niece. I said, I'm still walking in May. Mm-hmm. Why did I get up? Why did the seatbelt left me? That's just that. You got to see the bruises on my thighs and across my stomach. That hurts me the most because now I notice the bruising is going up and into my belly button. So I don't know if I should be concerned because it's still very sore. But I said, I walked away from that because I have a purpose, right? What's your purpose? Be brave. People call and they're like, you're lying. I saw the car. You're not okay. I am okay. I'm not gonna lie. Even if I have slight pain, I'm okay. I've just been shown that life does go on. Live your life and live it with intention. You know, there's no more lally-gallying around. I'm gonna be 54. I gotta get on my horse, and even if I'm riding and naked, and get to the destination I have to get to. That's how life is. That's how brave we should be. And Lori is going to read what bravery, the difference between bravery is.
Chanel wrote, you do have nice cleavage.
Oh, you saw it?
And it looks like a hickey, she said.
Oh, yeah. It's longer. I don't know if I can. And you know what? It's clearing up thanks to Vicks, because I've been rubbing.
Oh, my God, the Vicks.
All the
Vicks is to Gladiator Guru, like in the my big fat Greek wedding was the Windex to the dad. So Chanel says, just get checked. Yeah, I mean, bruising is very common and it can last for days and days and days. So, and soreness is bound to be there. It's been less than a week and it's a sensitive area, but yeah.
It is. The thighs.
Keep an eye on it.
I would show you the bruising on my thigh because you know me.
Oh yes, look at. Isn't that lovely? That's phenomenal, right?
Yeah, and it's on both thighs where the seatbelt was. Yeah. And then all across here. I'm not going to show you that because people might fall in love. But you know what? But I'm blessed and I'm grateful. That's my word.
I want to put, I'm going to read what Kathy wrote with regards to what you were saying before. So Kathy said, I heard something the other day about the list we write out and never complete. They were talking about working on those lists. I told my husband I need to burn all those lists.
That's right. You're trapping yourself on a piece of paper and ink. So you know what? Take a list, take out the 3 most important and light a match to the bitch and let it go.
Yep.
Too many people are following the masses, all these master classes. Do this and do that and you live better. They don't probably even do it. Right? So you gotta try things and then what's that word I'm looking for? Then you gotta work it for you. What fits you? What's your true size in life? And so many people are following trends and what everybody else is saying. You know what? I tried making lists. I go to the grocery store. The list was left in the house. It's folded up in my pocketbook. I never got it. And I always come home with everything except the first thing I wrote on the fucking list.
I do that all the time. All the time. All right. So you know me, I have to take a little bit of a break to go take my kid out. But I'm going to read what we were talking about, and then I'll leave it to Gladiator Guru. So the title of today, and then before we end, we have to do our mantra and our intention because we haven't done that yet. We got so excited. But today is the conversation is if I were brave. And as we were prepping yesterday and talking about it, we were talking about really is the proper term brave, being brave or being courageous. So A brave person is a person who sees a dangerous situation and immediately reacts bravely without thinking. Courage, on the other hand, is seeing a situation or a dangerous or scary experience and acting even though you're scared. And that's from lcsonline.org. So bravery is more reactive. It's like you don't have time to think about the fear, you just do it. And courage is where you feel it, you think it, you know it, and you do it anyway. Having faith and trusting in the process. And so, what did we say yesterday? That you could be, I'll be right there, baby. We said that you could be, you could, you, if you're courageous, you're also brave, but you could be brave and not necessarily have courage, right? And it was now, I think that's what we had mentioned
No,
yesterday.
that's what you were reading. I think they're one and the same. I think, and maybe it's, no, I agreed with what you wrote. I mean, I like the differences in it. But I think being brave is being courageous. Where'd she go? And I think, and maybe it's because when you have different upbringings, who here online has ever been raised like in a housing projects or one of those close to living to everybody type of deal? I think when you grow up in certain places like that, you're just brave. Like, you know what? You feel it, you see it, you do it because it's, you got to survive. I love the word unapologetically courageous. That's the name of my chapter in her badass story. I used that in the mantra when I wrote the mantra. These are things that I believe in, but I think, yep, it's right. And I think at that time, growing up, the only word was brave or tener coraje, which is having courage. And they were just one word. I think in today's dictionaries, they're splitting the two to add more ink into the book. I'm not sure, but Kathy says, let me see. When I was working for a public housing authority, I made a list for myself and followed those pretty well. Yet when it comes to my own personal life, it's something different. So I do better when I just do it, wing it, being in the moment. Yeah, you're living in the moment. Work, it's a whole different agenda. So I think, if you look in the dictionary today, there's words there that didn't never exist when we were growing up. So, they have an Ebonics book, they have like inner city, they have all these dictionaries with all the words that are being used today. And I don't know if I like that or not. I think that slang should be slang and then proper words should be proper words. But then I'm old, so I guess that's how I look at it. But back in our day, the dictionary was a dictionary. Today, you could look up anything and it's in there and they just add it and then pick definitions to go with it. But being brave and backing yourself up even when you're standing alone, when you were raised and your parents told you stand up for what you believe in, even if you're standing alone, and that in the moment could have scared you because especially where you were being raised at, but you had to do it. You knew you had to do it, and then that's how you live your life the rest of your life. That's bravery, because you're standing up for something that you believe in, and you got to do it whether you get the support of co-workers, your supervisor, your family, or even the person that you're trying to protect. So I think language fails to communicate what we feel and see in our minds. Absolutely, Gail. That's why you got to express it with blah, blah, blah. So, but I think, you know what? The dictionary has it in there. So that's what you can go by. But, being brave is being courageous, because you have to have the courage to take the first step to walk into that bravery that you need to do. Because we don't just walk into stuff expecting because we're bored. We do it because we have to do it. Whatever challenge we're facing, we have to do it. So that's bravery in itself. And then when I think, okay, let me say it this way, because I did love what the badass Buddha looked up, because they're one and the same. They're just under the different wording. But to have that courage to initiate something, especially if you don't have any backup, and then you're brave enough to complete it and come out on the other end and not care who looks at you or what is said to you. You did what you believe you needed to do. That is courageous bravery. So you see, I just made up a word, Gail. Let's see what the badass Buddha says. But I think being brave is what the Badass Buddha and I did when we first started Viva Cafe con Leche that May 2020. And then here we are, April 2022, and we courageously have been present twice a week for every week since 2020. And that is having the courage to bring other people on, to put our weaknesses out there, to share our strengths, to get feedback from individuals that have a lot to say. Like, we love all the comments. That is, not only was that brave for us to initiate it and courageous enough for us to continue with it, but the sharing of the knowledge and bringing people up and having people show up and share their vulnerabilities and their strengths, that just adds to humanity. And that's why I love doing this, because the sharing of everything that's a service to humanity. We're sharing beautiful stuff, we're sharing painful stuff, but we're never sharing darkness. We're never sharing any I'm up here and you're down here, so we're not gonna talk to you, we're not gonna read that. I think that when you are who you are, then your spirit connects with other spirits, and that's what makes a tribe. You know, people call it energy, they call it a vibe. You know, people, I'm not a religious person at all. I grew up Catholic, was raised in spiritualism, and I just have my relationship with God. And so when people talk, I respect. So if they'll say, please send light and energy, I know what they mean. We're not on the same, we're not going to speak the same language, but it is the same thing. I'm sending prayers, I'm sending love. My energy, I'm sending good energy. So that's what that is. So you see how people can take it differently, but I take it the same. You're sending me prayers. You're saying you're sending me good energy for me to feel better, because we are energy. Our spirit is energy. So here she is.
So what was the word that you made up?
Oh,
I was listening, and then my kid said something to me right when you said the word, and then I heard was, I'll have to see what
courageously brave. I think. Anybody remember? Yeah, I said when we start something and when we believe in something and we do it, it doesn't matter if we're standing alone. We initiate it with bravery because we know we got to do it, right? But we come out of it courageously because we saw it through. So, and I think that's what that is. And those words, because I was saying about dictionaries, like back when we grew up, half the words that are in today's dictionary, because they're trying to blend everything, even they have an Ebonics dictionary. So they created all these new words under it. And that's why, because when you said courageous, and I was like, okay, but they do go together. So you can begin something in bravery and finish it off courageously because you saw it through, regardless of the fears and the poor lighting down that tunnel. You still saw it through, so you came out courageously on the other side, but you initiated it with bravery. Like, I'm gonna do this, I'm scared, it's kind of dark in there, but I gotta do it. And then you push through. So that bravery is coming through to put that one step in front of the other to go into that dark tunnel. And then when you come out of it, you finished it courageously. So I blended those two words. But as you were saying, darling,
I don't remember. What was I saying?
You were gonna read that, but I didn't read some of the comments because even on my own, my moments.
Yeah, no, I put them up. So I like what Gwen said here. I'm so grateful that you two were so brave to do this show faithfully. Thank you, Gwen, for that. I think because we believed so much in what we were doing, and we know that there was a platform that needed to happen. And I think what's surprising us a little bit sometimes when we talk about it is that we actually thought we'd have even a greater amount of people listening to this, because we really do bring up topics that are interesting to people, and we talk in such a way that it inspires people or makes people think a different way. And we're not like the typical rhetoric that's coming out of people's mouths, like Gladiator Guru was saying, is that everybody follows what's out there, and they shift, like they'll follow this thing and then we'll see how that goes, and then they'll follow something else. And not that there's anything wrong with learning those things, but in the end, you have to take all that information and then make it for you. How much of that information is useful to you? What does it do for you? And then instead of following exactly as those individuals are doing it, is created in your own way. And I feel like that's what this show is. This show is looking at how everybody else does things, and there's nothing wrong with the way everybody else does things. We definitely want to do our own thing. And every time we've gotten on the show, we feel so fabulous after we do the show. Even if we didn't feel fabulous when we started that morning because we didn't sleep well, we had a rough night, we were just stressed out, we always feel good afterwards, because of, it's not just what we think we're bringing to the table, it's what all of you are also bringing to the table. And it's the comments, and we're not talking about the compliments. Those are beautiful.
Yeah, please stop. Keep them coming.
It's the comments, it's the comments, because you're adding to this. You add to the conversation. So Gwen, thank you for that. But we would not be able to do this without all of you. And we really, really appreciate that. I like what Gail said. My biggest lesson was to stop following the pack and live my truth. And Gail's got a fabulous podcast, and she's such a mellow individual, and she just really, I mean, if you're gonna if you put somebody's picture next to Flo, it's Gail, because Gail's such a flow person. But it was a lesson learned. It's just like all of us, it was a lesson learned. Kathy writes, these conversations really open the real life lessons, how brave anyone can be. Absolutely. Speaking your truth and standing
living it. And living it. A lot of people sound good.
That's good point.
Lies off that tongue, and then they end up believing their lies, and then they think that they've changed or that they've come through something. And then I'm sitting here saying, bitch, you need to look in the mirror a little. Yeah,
very good point.
Yeah. So you know what? It's living it. It's being it. It's about living your life where you don't care who knows you. You don't care what they think about you. It's going forward with what you want and doing what you have to do. And that, you know what? I've never followed the masses, Gail, because the M is always silent. And then I end up looking like a fool with nothing to believe in. I'm not going to follow you because you have 200,000 followers, and going back to what the Badass Buddha says, yeah, we believe that there were going to be more people on the show because we're just fucking phenomenal, right? But
that's right.
I don't care about the numbers. I care about the quality.
Yes. No, I agree.
What happens. And you know what? We might not have a big following now, but this has opened, Viva has opened many doors for us. The Badass Buddha has gone on other things and gotten people to be guests on here. So Viva Cafe con Leche is doing what it's doing on the time that it's supposed to be doing it. So you know what? Always enjoy what you're doing. And if you really do it because you love it, then you don't give a shit who looks at you and who you're following. We had a phenomenal woman on, and she's like this phenomenal woman, lives in Hawaii. I can't get her name. And
Dane Doria.
And she said that she didn't care that we didn't have a big following. She just wanted to be on our show. Yeah. And that's what Viva Cafe con Leche is about. If people come on, we love for you to share and invite people to our little sessions, right? Because this is our life coaching that we give. We love if you go on to YouTube and subscribe and hit the ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling bell so that you can get notified every time we're coming on, and invite people to subscribe to it. That would be beautiful. It would. It would be beautiful for me to have more than one penny in each pocket. But you know what? We will grow as we're supposed to, and we're going to grow into what we're supposed to be doing, because that's what Viva Cafe con Leche is. And You know what? We are on Clubhouse, thanks to the badass. But again, Viva Cafe con Leche. I am a co-host of Viva Cafe con Leche. That has opened many doors. Am I lying, Lori?
No, you're not lying.
She has been at a lot of things, and when she says I'm the co-host of Viva Cafe con Leche, they look at you. It's like, damn, and it's because we're awesome.
I like when they say I've heard of it. That really makes me feel good. We've interviewed people, and before they got on, they're like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of your show." I'm like, "Really? That's so cool."
It is. It's awesome, and that's how I live my life. I don't care to be in the spotlight. I walk in a room, my energy is like, bam, Margie's here, because I know that, because that's how I've always been. But you know what? Social media has changing algorithms, all this and all that, and I don't got time to play catch up with that. So I'm doing my thing. So tonight at 7 p.m. we have Moments con Margarita and Margarita de Margarita, and on YouTube. So make sure you sign in and watch me there. But we also have this on Clubhouse today, and we have a lot more to talk about because we went off. But listen, thank you, Desiree. Thank you. And I want to thank to everybody who's donated to my daughter's GoFundMe for the car, because that's appreciated. Desiree, did you read anything?
Desiree's one of them, which was really beautiful.
Oh, my sister's on. Hi, Janet.
Yeah, Janet, Connie, both are on.
Connie, both my sisters. Yep. Hola, hermanitas, hermanas, and hermanitas.
I want to say something about you. You had mentioned, and this is with regards to courage and bravery. What you had said about those that are living their truth versus just saying their truth. You know, speak your truth, but live your truth.
And say, listen, I'm authentic, and
you have to. I have to frequently check my ass at the door. I'm going to tell you that because I am a speaker. I speak, and I don't mean I'm like a speaker, like public speaker. I am that. What I mean is that I am always speaking to people, whether it is in a group or like couple people or one person. And I speak my truth. I speak what I'm saying. However, I do have to check myself at the door to make sure that I am also living my truth. And that is I got to tell you, that's the piece too, that is where you have courage. Courage is admitting when you aren't quite hitting it just right. Like you're saying, this is how I am, this is how I want to be. And in those days where you're not quite hitting it, and then being honest about it to say, I didn't quite hit the mark today for myself. So what do I need to do today or tomorrow? Whatever mark you set, whatever your truth is. If I didn't hit that mark, I need to be honest with myself and then say, what can I do better tomorrow? What can I do differently tomorrow? That's courage.
But
courage
I don't get it.
Admitting to that.
What do you mean? Like if your truth is that you made a list and you didn't hit that mark?
No. What I'm saying is, if you're saying what you said, living your truth versus just speaking your truth. If I'm speaking my truth, you should
always hit your mark if you're living your truth. Like
you're not listening. You're not hearing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that a lot of times we say the truth. We're speaking our truth because part of it is we also remind ourselves what our truth is, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're saying that it's not just enough to speak it, you have to live it. And I agree 100%. What I'm saying is that sometimes we could say, I'm this positive individual. I'm very, understanding, mindful. And then all of a sudden I'm not being that way, maybe because I'm yelling at my kid or I'm upset because I'm stressed. So at that moment, I'm not living my truth.
No, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that but the courage piece comes in is to admit that, is to say, okay, wait, hold up. At that moment in time, I slipped a little bit or I slipped a lot. What can I do today or late or tomorrow to be better than I was today? Or maybe at the end of the day, when you review your day and you go, hey, I didn't really follow through exactly. I didn't live the day that I said that I was going to live. What can I do differently? What can I do better tomorrow? That's courage, is to admit when you need to make changes.
Courage is to admit that when you walk in your truth, you're 50% namaste and 50% go fuck yourself.
Of course. Yeah.
So if you're saying I'm going to be positive today and you end up yelling at your kid, you're not yelling at your kid because you stubbed your toe because they did something. That's still living in your truth. Living in your truth is being real at every hour of every day. So if you got to yell at your kid, You gotta yell at somebody who's not listening to you and you're paying money to. It's still a reality of life. That's not living your truth. That's not failing. Failing is when I'm telling you I'm walking in my truth, and I just love everybody, and then you get on the phone with your sister-in-law and you're bashing your brother, or you're bashing somebody, so you're not loving everybody. When you're envious, but you're saying that you're humanity to people. When you secretly are jealous of somebody because you just don't got what they got, and what they got they're not even flaunting it because it comes natural. That's not living. Living in your truth is living and accepting the everyday battles of, you're fucking pissing me off. So you know what? I need like an hour away from you. And then you go and you do a podcast and you bring your energy up and you're like, today wasn't that, as it didn't go as expected. I had some little turbulence, but you know what? At the end of the day, everything's going to work out. That's living in your truth. That's being brave. That's being honest with yourself. And you know what, Gail? Sometimes ego wins. You know why the ego wins? Because you're not feeding your spirit. Ego and spirit they're like fraternal twins. So when your spirit is malnourished and is starving, your ego is filled with anxiety and fear. And then your thoughts start going all garbled to a cloudy day. People think it's changing your mindset. No. Feed your spirit kindness, gratitude, and self-trust. That will nurture your ego to expend the anxiety and fear. Love who you are, unfuck your brain, and the thoughts are going to be flowing as they should, and then you can be living your truth. You can't only change your mindset and malnourish your spirit and have your ego going crazy, like, okay, do that, no, do this, and do that. And then you're like, but I don't know, I'm trying to do everything right. Humana, namaste. Changing my mindset. Feed your spirit. That is the energy. That is what makes your body flow. That is what makes all this go and turn as it should. If you're not feeding your spirit, you're not nurturing your ego, then I don't want to hear you complain that you can't get your thoughts right. And do I fail in that? Yeah, sometimes I get consumed with something, and it could be my sorrow, which really likes following me around like my shadow. And some days I'm not feeling up to par. But you know what? I try to say, it's okay, Margarita. It's okay. I acknowledge some part of myself. Like I kiss myself. Good morning. Good morning, Margarita, after I give my gratitude prayer. And when you cannot fulfill your day, don't be hard on yourself. You know what? Be grateful for what you got to complete today. Be grateful of the kisses that Charlotte received today. Be grateful of the people's lives you've touched today. And then say, well, hopefully tomorrow will be better. I'm going to see if tomorrow can be better. But don't bind yourself to that. You got to celebrate what you did accomplish. That's courage and bravery. It's saying, you know what? I didn't finish the 15 things. And I was kind of mean to 3 out of those 10 that I finished. But let me celebrate what I did accomplish. And that's being courageous with yourself and admitting that you can't get everything done. And how long are we awake, Laura? People say 24 hours. That's bullshit. We got to sleep at least 8 of them.
No, we're not awake 24 hours. We're just
but people like everybody got 24 hours, and you could have got that
14.
And this hustle mentality that people have on now. Oh, I gotta do it. I'm an entrepreneur. I gotta work. I can't sleep. I gotta work. That's bullshit. Your body needs to rest. Take it from me. I'm a night owl. Your body needs to rest, and then you can do good. And when Lori and I coach each other, this is exactly how real we are with one another. I don't think so. And she tells me, you got to rest. You got to find and go to sleep early. And that's what the courage and the bravery comes in, especially when you got somebody that's going to call you out on your shit. Because sometimes we do seem to forget. Because being real isn't being perfect. We're going to mess up. Trust me. I do it all the time. I trip over my own feet. So it's about making the best effort and being brave enough to follow your heart and your gut. That's going to lead you to where you need to be, and stop shortchanging yourself. Because what if this person, what if my kid, what if my husband, what if my job, what if, because you're replaceable to that job, right? So live, and then they will see. It's like that aura is going to go to them, and the energy is going to switch everything up. That's all. I'm done speaking.
A shout out to my niece Tatiana Sanchez. I haven't seen her on, and she's new. So good morning. Happy that you're here. Yeah, when we think of our lives and we beat ourselves up a little too much, I hear this a lot from women, especially where they're like, I'm not brave. I'm not a brave person. And I don't agree with that. I think that a lot of women really don't give themselves credit for the stuff that they've done in their lives. And I think that if you really sit down and write it down, make the list, not the checklist, but just make a list of the things that you've done in your life that are brave and courageous. And the other one is strong, because like, oh, I'm not strong, I'm not brave, I'm not courageous. Listen, if you've never left your house
without a bra,
I could see where you'd say that. But if you've done things in your life, that is being brave and being courageous. I mean, yes. I've said that to myself when I was at my lowest points. I was like, I'm not a strong person. I'm not brave. I'm not courageous. My God, you know how many times I just packed up my car and just drove and moved to another state? I've done that 3 times in my life where I just moved and trusted in the process. I didn't have a job. I just found a place to live by the newspaper. I didn't even know if my car was going to make it and just did it. And I look back at that and going, damn, that's pretty badass.
It is. Really, I love those stories.
And we don't, again, it's like, why did I not give myself credit for that? Why did I? Because when I do that now, well, now I'm older and I'm like, well, I've got the kids and I've got this and I've got to figure all these things out. But really, it's not true, because I could definitely do that. Maybe a little bit more planning, because there are other people relying on me. Before, it was just 2 dogs, pack the truck up and go. But who says I can't? And we all are like that. What Gladiator Guru was saying earlier was really, really key. We sometimes make these lists and we have these ideas and we put them, and all we do is plan, and then we don't execute. And listen, the first step is great. That's being very courageous. You're writing it down. You even say it. If you think it, ink it. So do that. But then don't fall with that excuse of saying, well, I've been writing it down. I've been planning. It's going to take a lot of time, and never execute it. Let me share a story. Okay. My dad was an inventor. Okay. He really had some phenomenal ideas, and he did bring a couple of them to light. Okay. He would come up with these ideas. He would write them down. He was a draftsman. He would create the sketches for them, the products. Right. And he would get to a certain point, but then he didn't know how to go any further. He was not good at business. He didn't know how to market, all that stuff. And then he would sort of get distracted because he didn't have a lot of support. He definitely didn't have a lot of support from my mother. My dad invented a game, remember back in the day when, now it's better, people are doing it more, but remember the 70s, you always had those yard games. There would be something like horseshoes or whatever. And he invented this very cool yard game. I mean, it really, really was a cool game. He actually made the prototype. We would have block parties here in our neighborhood. He would bring the game. They would love playing it. And he could have seriously sold this. He tried a little bit, but he kept running into roadblocks and he just didn't know where to go. I watched my dad come up with some phenomenal ideas, and they only stayed that way. He would talk about them. He would tell everybody about them, but they never went further. And you know what people started to say about him in my family, which was terrible, or people like friends, oh, he just never does it. He never follows through. He never goes anywhere. Or like, oh, that's another idea. And then after a while, they would, poo on his dream, because he would say, oh, I have this great idea. And they'd be like, yeah, well, is it like the other ones that you have? Because you haven't gone, which I thought was always terrible. And I'm convinced that that's kind of where my dad's dementia sort of came from. It was this idea of constantly being shot down, not just for those, but for other things, that he just sort of drifted. He just sort of took a space in his head and said, forget it. I don't matter. We all matter. We all have phenomenal ideas. I don't give a shit if you are 90 years old and say, I have this really good idea for this invention. I want to finish my degree. I have a book I want to write. Just fucking do it. Just
I wanna learn how to dance on a pole.
Oh yeah, and upside down and like hang yourself.
Twist it all up. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's
I'm sorry I
beautiful
didn't
though.
learn that earlier.
That's beautiful though. And you know what? That like it hurts my heart because when somebody has an idea, just support them, whether you like it, whether you believe in it,
Yes.
whether whatever, it's somebody's, I'm like, go for it. Just do it. And every time they'll bring it up, like this food truck my sister wants, and I'm like, do it. And then the next year, I just want a food truck. That's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome because it is gonna be awesome. And because I've tried many different dreams, I've lived out many different dreams. If I were to die today, I hope God doesn't have that in his plans, but I can say that I've lived a complete life. I've had great lovers. I have been loved. I have loved. I have 2 phenomenal kids, 4 phenomenal grandkids that they've got to know me. So, because I have always ventured out to do what I wanted to do. If I was at work and it was a Wednesday, I will call my sister, you want to go to Florida this weekend? Okay. I will go to the credit union. I'll take out the loan, get the tickets. We're in Florida with the kids.
Yes.
For a couple days.
And I love people like that.
And I'm talking about my son is going to be 32 and my daughter 36. I'm talking about when my son was 6 and my daughter was 10. And Stephanie was 6. I'm like, well, let's go. And we would go, no car rental or nothing, but we would go. We knew people out there. And that's back in the day. So I've always been impulsive that way because I've never been afraid.
Holy shit. Look at what Gail wrote. I started competitive dance at 53 and made it to the U.S. Open swing event to compete.
I love swing.
Oh my God. But you see, and here's the deal. We need the people like Gladiator Guru in our lives. We need the people, especially if you're not that person, if you're the planner or you're the hesitator. You need people like that.
They're both the same. A planner can be a hesitator. That's why they plan.
Yeah, but not always. You're right. A hesitator is a planner, but a planner is not always a hesitator, because I've known plenty of people who plan and then go. But if you're that person, then you need the people like Gladiator Guru in your life. You need the people that are more spontaneous and say, hey, listen, let's just go. Because they put you out of that comfort zone. At the same token, it's a beautiful symbiotic relationship, because people who are more, spontaneous do need planning sometimes. And it's a beautiful, you both could combine your skill set, and it's not both, it could be a group of you, because they're the ones that the spontaneous people are getting you off your ass and making you go and saying, go ahead, let's just do this. You've talked about it for how long? All right, that's it. Get up. We're going right now. And we're going to go look at this and do this.
And do it.
And yes. And that's the beauty.
Planning. I'm not knocking planning, Badass Buddha.
No, I know
you got a plan to walk into the credit union and ask for a loan. You know what I mean? So there's planning, but people get stuck in the process. They'll make a list and put it up on the refrigerator and look at it. And one day, soon, I'm going to start taking out money here. And that's what I'm saying. Don't fall for that. But of course, you got to plan. You got to plan how long you're going to be gone, when you're going. I'm all for planning. So you're right. A planner is not always a hesitator.
Yes.
That's what you said, right? Okay, good. Good. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I'm just saying, that's what you have to, to be brave. If you are fearful of being brave, or if you don't think you're brave or courageous, then be around brave and courageous people. Don't be intimidated by them. Just be around them, because it is contagious. Everything is contagious. If you want to be a loser, if you want to just not take chances, be around miserable people, and it's contagious, and you will exactly align with that. Yes. But if you say, gosh, I'm looking at my life and I'm happy and it's wonderful, but I feel like something's missing, I want more, then be around the people that want more. And then it could, because it's contagious, and be around those happy people and redirect yourself instead of wallowing and saying, I'm never going to get out of this. Mm-hmm. And also honor yourself for the moments that you do have when you feel that way. Just check it. Say, okay, I'm just going to let myself feel that way, or reach out to somebody. I was kind of feeling that sort of way on Saturday. And I felt it coming. I felt I was getting into that headspace. And a friend of mine, I had text messaged her about something she did the day before, a comment she made on a Clubhouse that we were on together. It was brilliant. It was beautiful, insightful. And I honored her, and I sent that text. She didn't send me anything until the next day. That morning, she sent me a text and she said, thank you, blah, blah, blah. And I said something back to her. And I basically said, I'm not really in a good headspace. I thank you for reaching out to me. I feel myself starting to spiral. And man, 2 seconds later, the phone is ringing. Now I sat there for a second and I'm like, I was in the mood to wallow a little bit. And I'm like, should I answer this or should I just let it go to voicemail? Because if I let it go to voicemail, I get to wallow. But if I answer it, I'm going to have to deal with this. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, I did this all of 2021 where I didn't answer the phone. So I don't want to be there anymore. I've got to be braver than this. I've got to be more courageous. As I picked up the phone and we talked for an hour. And I was so grateful that she took the time out of her to just drop. She said, I'm going to call you. And I needed that. And I was so honored that she did that, and then I reciprocate by doing it for other people and for her. And the point is that shifted me. And so that's where I'm saying it's like you could be in that miserable state, feeling unbrave, feeling not courageous, not moving forward, being stuck, wallowing. And if you get your crew of people that support you on that, that is where you will stay. But it takes that piece of being brave. I look at it this way. It was brave enough for me to answer the phone.
Yes.
That's the, and it might not seem like, well, that's how brave is that to just answer the phone? When you feel in that kind of headspace, that is brave to answer the phone and to face it, or courageous, or in reality, because you're saying it's both, Gladiator Guru. And it's a small thing, but it meant so much. And it definitely shifted me. By Sunday, my energy was completely changed. And what a difference that made, because I had an amazing Sunday and Monday.
And it all starts with you, because we can surround ourselves with people, but then again, now we're holding them. We're depending on them to make us do what we do, right? So, yeah, I love that. Energy in motion stays in motion. And you know what? Thank you, Tatiana. You know what? Let me tell you something. When you were talking about my purses and me being focused, because I am a traveling magician. So I can, wherever I'm at, I can write a book. I can paint a big painting or 20 purses. I speak to everybody. So I do public speaking everywhere I go. I meet people who always need coaching. Like, what the hell? I need money. You need coaching. I need money. You need coaching. I need money. So that's like something that has to be. But that's what I do. I am a traveling magician. So with that being said, it also tells you that my focus is like an octopus. So when I said I am going to learn how to focus on one thing until I complete it, and I did that with the purses, and every purse I painted sold before it was finished. And thank you to all of those people who bought my purses, not even seeing the finished product. That was very exciting for me because I am learning that part of me now. That tentacle is getting pulled in to meet the complete me and say, you know what, I can do this with everything. So that was being brave. I don't care to admit, let me tell you something. Me and the floor were like this. Me and the sidewalks outside in the street. My kid always like, Mom, don't fall because you're always embarrassing. That's the story of my life. And I laugh and I laugh. And my son's, get up, get up. You know how kids are, even at his age. But you know what? Because it is funny. When I get angry, that's where I say I'm a heathen. When I'm angry and I taste your blood, please run. Because I don't stay still. And I haven't allowed myself to get that angry. When I became so brave that 3 weeks after my husband died, I booked a flight to Spain. I walked 500 miles from France to Spain. I went without the only thing I knew is I can speak Spanish. I didn't know about the money exchange.
Yes,
how I was going to mention this from the airport to Pamplona so that then I could take another bus to France. But it all happened. And I met phenomenal people. And I was there for a month and a half. And I chilled the last 8 days by myself in Santiago, just exploring that ancient city. And that was my bravery. After being a caretaker for almost 6 years, my husband passes away. I bury him. I leave. I said, I'm out. I need some healing. And I left the majority of my rage in El Cruz de Ferro with my stone that I carried for most of the journey. And I laid down my burdens, my sorrows, and my rage. And I came back, and my rage isn't like boom anymore. It comes up like a thermometer, but then it's like, that's what I love about me, that I can admit my thoughts, that even if, and I can stand corrected, and I am a spirit of adventure, and I can go out. And I said, I slept in 31 beds and didn't get laid in any of them in Spain. Maron, let me see how different that'll be this time. But you know what? It's all up to my choices.
I love it.
But that's being brave. Be brave for you, not for anybody else. For you. Wake up in the morning, look in that mirror and say, girl, you're the bomb. You got this. Ooh, I'm so proud of you. Look at, we work good together. Have those conversations with your superhero and be brave for what you believe is right and fight for what you know. And that will bring you out of the dark tunnel into the sunshine as an unapologetic, courageous queen. You can do this.
All right. So we are thank you for indulging us. We went over the hour and we started a little late. So we are past the hour. So let's quickly, before we end, we'll do what we didn't do in the beginning. And set the intention and do our mantra. And then we'll say bye-bye. And Thursday we have Ephraim back, which is going to, and what is the topic? You say it. I can't say it.
Saudade. Saudade.
Saudade. Yes.
Saudade.
Did you want to say something? Because
yes. You didn't mention the bravery of opening your own clubhouse club. Did you mention that on the show?
Oh, yeah. Yesterday. No, I didn't mention it.
That's bravery.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I started my own clubhouse, Narcissist 101. And the very first room yesterday, we had, last time I checked, which was last night, I had 100 people that had come on for the very first room, which was incredible. So I was beyond excited about that. So thank you for mentioning that, Gladiator Guru. I appreciate it. So
yeah,
our intention, remember, the intention, as always, is to be intentional. So go about your day being intentional and
go about your day filled with gratitude and everything that's happened up to date with you. Be grateful.
Absolutely.
You woke up, you saw, you smelled, you tasted, you touched, you feel. So,
all right. And so the mantra, here we go. You ready? I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole!
And I am beyond authentic.
And I keep it as real as I can be.
Everyone, thanks so much for coming on today. We will see you on Thursday's show with our guest, Ephraim Silva. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, remember, mi gente, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste.